This comprehensive reading comprehension resource is designed to enhance students' understanding of the story, The Three Questions, a philosophical parable by Leo Tolstoy, while developing essential reading comprehension skills. It covers various aspects of the text, including the setting, characters, plot, story analysis, and summary. The resource is structured to target specific reading comprehension skills like retrieval, author's intent, author's use of language, structural devices, elements of fiction, simple inference, complex inference, figurative language, and language analysis that engages the students in meaningful discussions and activities. The Three Questions by Leo Tolstoy is a captivating short story that explores important philosophical concepts through a thought-provoking narrative. Students read the given story and engage themselves in meaningful discussions and activities. Students can also click on the link given here to read the story online. Session 1 deals with the setting, which starts off with the students identifying the elements of the setting that includes place, time, and atmosphere. Then the students use the elements of the setting that they have identified to describe the setting. Students are encouraged to use the given sentence frame as a guide. In addition, setting-related differentiated questions that require retrieval of the specific details, analysis of the author's intent and author's use of language, examination of the structural devices, and exploration of the story elements will be answered by the students to completely understand the setting of the story. Thereafter, students are tested for their understanding of the story's setting. Finally, students try challenging questions based on the setting of the story to reinforce their comprehension skills. Session 2 focuses on the characters, which begins with the identification of the characters, their types, and their roles. Then the students are encouraged to identify the characteristic features of the main character and say what they suggest. After that, students use the character sketch that they have made to describe the main character. Students are encouraged to use the given sentence frame as a guide. In addition, skill-based character-related differentiated questions that require retrieval of the specific details, analysis of the author's intent and author's use of language, examination of the structural devices, and exploration of the story elements will be answered by the students to completely understand the characters of the story. Thereafter, students are tested for their understanding of the character types in the story. Finally, students try challenging questions based on the characterization to reinforce their comprehension skills. Session 3 highlights the plot, which sets in motion the identification of the elements of the plot. After that, students use the plot elements that they have identified to develop the plot. Students are encouraged to use the given sentence frame as a guide. In addition, skill-based plot-related differentiated questions that require retrieval of the specific details, analysis of the author's intent and author's use of language, examination of the structural devices, and exploration of the story elements will be answered by the students to completely understand the plot of the story. Thereafter, students are tested for their understanding of the plot elements in the story. Finally, students try challenging questions based on the plot of the story to reinforce their comprehension skills. Session 4 takes care of the story analysis, which takes off with the identification of the elements of the story. After that, students use the story analysis elements that they have identified to make a critical appreciation of the story. Students are encouraged to use the given sentence frame as a guide. In addition, skill-based, differentiated, analytical questions that require retrieval of the specific details, analysis of the author's intent and author's use of language, examination of the structural devices, and exploration of the story elements will be answered by the students to get the complete analysis of the story. Thereafter, students are tested for their understanding of the story analysis elements. Finally, students try analytical questions based on the language used in the story to reinforce their comprehension skills. Session 5 concentrates on the summary, which kicks off with the identification of the elements of the summary. Then the students use the summary elements that they have identified to create the summary of the story. Students are encouraged to use the given sentence frame as a guide. In addition, skill-based summary-related questions that require retrieval of the specific details, analysis of the author's intent and author's use of language, examination of the structural devices, and the exploration of the story elements will be answered by the students to get the synopsis of the story. Thereafter, students are tested for their understanding of the main ideas of the story. Finally, students try challenging questions based on the key ideas of the story to reinforce their comprehension and writing skills. Please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, John D'Souza, and hit notification bell to stay updated on my latest educational videos. To download the PowerPoint presentation for this resource, log into Teachers by Teachers and search for John D'Souza.